Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and good morning to the panels, which are Dr. Muhammad Fuad and also Ms. Shahida. So the purpose of this video is to present the final year project that we have conducted throughout these 2 semesters. And the topic that we have chosen is about exploring work-life balance factors among staff at UITM Seremban 3. So before we start our presentation today, let me introduce you the researchers for this study. The first one is me, and my name is Muhammad FARHAN ISKANDAR bin Muhammad FAUDZI. The second one is Muhammad ARIF bin ZAINURIN. So, without waste any time, let we start our presentation today.
Alright, let's continue with research background of the study that led us to choose this topic. First of all, work-life balance can be defined with the perception that work and non-work activities are compatible and contribute to an individual's growth based on their current life priorities. Based on the figure, it seems that Malaysia is at the bottom of the list, which proves that Malaysia is still weak in having a good quality in work-life balance. Meanwhile, the other figure also proves that only 4 in 10 Malaysians are happy with their work-life balance. The situation is really serious, showing that work-life balance in Malaysia needs urgent action to make things better. In the context of the problem statement of the study, the issue of work-life balance has become a serious issue among employees in Malaysia, which need to be analysed because it is related to the productivity of the employees in the organisation and relationship with other people, especially families. The issue starts to arise when employees often ignore work-life balance, which there is a case that there are employees who didn't have enough time to rest. This can be proven by the statistic that shows that 1 out of 10 employees never take a break at lunchtime because they need to fulfill their work given by the organisation. In addition, the employees also did not have a flexible schedule management to spread the responsibilities at workplace and their personal life, which can lead to burnout, loss of motivation, decrease of productivity, and health issue.
Now we are at the section of research question. In this study, there have 4 research questions. The first one is there any significant difference in the level implementation of work-life balance across gender among staff in UITM Seremban 3? The second one is, does emotional intelligence affect work-life balance among staff in UITM Seremban 3? The third one is, does work overload affect work-life balance among staff in UITM Seremban 3? And the last one is, does technological advancement affect work-life balance among staff in UITM Seremban 3? Turning to the section of research objective, so basically in this study have 4 objectives. The first one is to study whether there is significant difference in the level implementation of work-life balance across gender among staff in UITM Seremban 3. The second objective is to determine whether emotional intelligence affect work-life balance among staff in UITM Seremban 3. The third one is to examine whether work overload affect work-life balance among staff in UITM Seremban 3. And the last objective is to identify whether technological advancement affect work-life balance among staff in UITM Seremban 3.
In this section, I will explain the conceptual framework for this study. Basically, the conceptual framework is being used to show the relationship between the independent variables and the dependent variable. In this study, the independent variables that being used as the factors are emotional intelligence as individual factor, work overload as organizational factor, and technological advancement as environmental factor. Meanwhile, the dependent variable of the study is work-life balance.
In this section, I will show you the hypothesis development for the studies. For the first objective, the alternate hypothesis is there is significant difference in the level implementation of work-life balance across gender among staff in UITM Seremban 3. For the null hypothesis is there is no significant difference in the level implementation of work-life balance across gender among staff in UITM Seremban 3. For the second objective, the alternate hypothesis is there is significant relationship between emotional intelligence and work-life balance among staff in UITM Seremban 3. And for the null hypothesis is there is no significant relationship between emotional intelligence and also work-life balance among staff in UITM Seremban 3.
In this section, the research method consists of 5 elements. The first is research design. The method used in this study is quantitative research method. The second is unit of analysis, which is the staff who work at UITM Seremban 3. And the third is sample size. Since the population interest is 380, So the sample size of the study is 191. The fourth is sampling technique. The sampling technique that being used in the study is convenient sampling technique. And the last is measurement. The questionnaire that distribute to the respondent, which is consists of 5 sections. Part A, demographic profile. Part B, the balance of working hours and non-working hours. Part C, observation about emotional intelligence. Part D, observation about work overload. Part E, observation about technological advancements.
In this section, I will show you the result that we obtained from our study on demographic profile. As for gender, the majority of contributors in this study are male, which is 106 respondents with 55.5% of contribution. According to age, the majority of respondents who contributed to this study are in the range of 31 until 40 years old, which is 96 respondents with 50.3% of contribution. Looking at marital status, the majority of respondents who contribute to this study were unmarried or still single respondent, which is 108 respondents with 56.5 contribution. If by race, the majority are among the Malays who make contribution, which is 177 respondents with 92.7% of contribution. Looking at the place of residence, the majority of respondents live in urban areas, which is 97 respondents with a percentage of 50.8% of contribution. Looking at the employment section, the majority who contributed a lot were from respondents working at the academic affair, which is 89 respondents with 46.6%. Next, according to the education level, the majority are among the respondents or employees who have higher education, which is 149 respondents with a percentage of 78%. The last is in terms of monthly income, where the majority of respondents with a monthly salary of approximately between 3,001 ringgit until 5,000 ringgit, which is 139 respondents with 72.8% of contribution. In this section, I will show you the descriptive analysis of the study variables. The purpose of this descriptive analysis is to see whether all the variables are in the normal condition or vice versa. As stated on the slide, all variables can be considered as normal when the skewness value are in the range of -2.0 until +2.0. On the other hand, all variables can also be considered as normal when the kurtosis value are in the range of -7.0 until +7.0. Therefore, from the study table, all variables can be considered as normal because the skewness and the kurtosis value are within the normal values, as I have told you just now. This independent sample t-test was conducted to study the first objective, which is to study whether there is significant difference in the level implementation of work-life balance across gender among staff in UITM Seremban 3. In this study, the p-value must not exceed 0.05. According to the research that has been conducted, the p-value obtained is 0.443, which is it is exceed 0.05. Therefore, according to the result as displayed on the slide, we can conclude that there is no significant difference in the level implementation of work-life balance across gender among staff in UITM Seremban 3. Thus, we reject the alternate hypothesis and accept the null hypothesis. With that too, we cannot find which gender contributes more in the level implementation of work-life balance because there is no significant difference between this gender. For the second objective, we use Pearson correlation technique. For this second objective, the p-value should not exceed 0.05. Thus, for this study, the p-value obtained is 0.000, where it does not exceed 0.05. For the first table, it shows the strength of relationship based on correlation coefficient. For this study, the correlation coefficient or R value is 0.643, which shows that emotional intelligence has a positive and strong relationship with work-life balance. With this also, we can say where the emotional intelligence increase, the more work-life balance increase among the staff. Therefore, we can conclude that there is a significant with strong relationship between emotional intelligence and work-life balance among staff in UITM Seremban 3. Hence, the alternate hypothesis was accepted while the null hypothesis was rejected. For the third objective, we still use the Pearson correlation technique. For this study, the p-value obtained is 0.001, where it does not exceed 0.05. Thus, it has a significant relationship between the variables. For this study, the correlation coefficient or R value obtained is negative 0.240, which shows that the work overload has negative and weak relationship with work-life balance. In other words, we can say when work overload increase, then the work-life balance among the staff will decrease. Therefore, we can conclude that there is a significant with negatively weak relationship between work overload and work-life balance among staff working at UITM Seremban 3. However, we still accept the alternate hypothesis, while the null hypothesis was rejected because of the p-value obtained in this study is 0.001, where does not exceed 0.05. For the last objective, we still use the Pearson correlation technique. For this study, the p-value is 0.000, where it does not exceed 0.05. Thus, it has a significant relationship between the variables. For this study, the correlation coefficient or R value obtained is 0.659, which shows that the technological advancement has a positive and strong relationship with work-life balance. In other words, we can say that when technological advancement increase, then work-life balance among staff will also increase. Therefore, we can conclude that there is significant with strong relationship between technological advancement and work-life balance among staff working at UITM Seremban 3. Through that, we accept the alternate hypothesis while the null hypothesis was rejected.
I will explain the recommendation of the study where it will act as guideline for guiding and shaping specific action or course of action that can be thoughtfully and effectively implemented within the wider context for future research. Alright, for the first recommendation is enhancements emotional intelligence skills among staff. So, organization must take part in improving the staff ability to recognize, understand, manage, and effectively use their own emotion in the workplace, in fostering a positive work-life balance and healthy workplace. For the second recommendation is effective workload management strategies. So, it means that staff practice effective workload management that involves systematic planning, organizing and prioritizing tasks to ensure the productivity desired by the organization and able to prevent fatigue or heavy workload. And the last recommendation is continuous technology training among staff in the organization. So it means that the process of continuous learning and updating skills related to technological advancement and tool related to organizational operation to keep up with the latest developments to improve their efficiency, productivity, and adaptability in the era of modernization. In this section, I will explain the element or challenge that potentially affects the research of this study, and I will explain how far this element give effect toward the research that is being conducted. So the first is limitation in gaining respondent. So since the target audience consists staff of UITM Seremban 3 has complicated the situation with the fact that many staff are busy with their daily tasks, making it more difficult for them to spend time for the questionnaire. So the second is time constraint. The tight time frame has created a sense of urgency, which has led the researcher with insufficient time to implement this study effectively. It gave the researcher a short timeline to continue with the next step, which is conducting the comprehensive analysis. And the last is social desirability bias. So the respondent might hesitate to express their true negative opinion, which will give effect toward the overall in the organization, which can lead to the lack of accuracy in this study. In a conclusion, the exploration of factors influencing work-life balance among staff in university context, specifically emotional intelligence, work overload, and technological advancements, reveals a complex interplay of elements that impact the well-being of employees. Emotional intelligence emerges as a crucial factor influencing how individuals manage stress, navigate relationships, and cope with challenge in the academic environment. Work overload, often exacerbated by increasing responsibilities and expectation, significantly contributes to the struggle for work-life balance. The influence of technological advancements while enhancing productivity pose challenge in terms of boundary management and constant connectivity. In this study, the research found that the three factors that has been studied, which is emotional intelligence, Work overload and also technological advancements are able to have an impact on work-life balance among employees at UITM Seremban 3.
So that's all from us for our final year project presentation. Thank you.